I'm Corbitt with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, August the 29th, brought to you in part by Noromycin by Norbrook. Noromycin 300 LA is the only broad-spectrum 300 milligram per milliliter oxytetracycline on the market. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Market in south central Iowa. Unionville is going to be having a calf and yearling sale on Tuesday, September the 9th. So put that on your calendars. Up at Creston, they've got regular all classes sale on Friday, September the 5th and the 19th. Their next big feeder special is going to be October the 1st. You can find both of those sales at DVAuction.com. Packers Pivot and Punchy Pics, if you can believe it's time for that already. But on Thursday, boy, your Packers, they played all their cards, took them back in, reshuffled them, redealt them, and did it again. They come out early in the morning, and everybody knew that they needed cattle. They wanted cattle. They were bidding fully steady with some top bids that they had been bidding all week, which was the extreme top of last week's market, and in the Southern Plains, $2 higher than last week. But they had those top bids, and then as they saw the board going down on Thursday, they jerked those bids or backed them up $2 to $3 then, and then we thought, well, I guess no more trade. And then about the time the board closed, they brought them back again and finally got some trade going to $245 in the Northern Plains, $242 in the Southern Plains, dress sales as high as $392. But I'm not sure they got everything that they needed. Probably have more work to do on Friday, or they'll have to just finish the week without getting all their needs filled. But kind of an interesting day as far as Packer bids out there. One thing we've seen here of late is there's been a significant increase of imports of grinding beef from Mexico. I wonder where Mexico would come up with all this grinding beef. We're not getting much from Brazil now because of Trump's tariffs on them. So that's pretty much shut that off. I wonder if that product could be going from Brazil into Mexico and repackaged and sent up here. Well, whatever you guys think, but it's making a lot of us wonder if that's not where it's coming from. I'm not sure how close they police all that, but that's likely where it's coming from. And so that they figure out a way to get that done. I want to tell you about the Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City. We had talked several months ago about how it was up for sale, and then thank goodness they found a money man that had a background in cattle and wanted to keep the Oklahoma City Stockyards the same, continue letting it run. And so we kind of put that to bed and quit worrying about it. Now we're hearing that the sale of the Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City has fallen through. And so I assume it's still for sale, looking for a new buyer. We're still hoping that that new buyer will want to keep the stockyards like it is. The commission firms in Oklahoma City are still scrambling. They're out there getting cattle, been having good receipts here the last several weeks, and it's tough for them. It's like having a restaurant with a for sale sign in the window. It's tough to run, but the commission firms have not given in a bit. They're still operating just as they were, and we're just hoping that they find a new buyer that is willing to keep that a stockyard. I want to tell you about Tri-County Stockyards in Motley, Minnesota. I've been telling you about that big special video sale they're going to have next week on September the 3rd. They have changed the times on that a little bit. They're still going to have their sale through the ring there starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, but the video sale is going to start at 11 instead of noon. call Mitch and his help in there in the office. Get approved well early before the video sale starts, because you remember they got that big string of Schultz Ranch bred heifers coming in there, 500 head of them. I mean, as good as you can get, and then they'll have 700-800 new crop calves to sell there. Tri-County Stockyards, Motley, Minnesota, on DVAuction.com. And Springfield Livestock Marketing Center in Springfield, Missouri, they have altered their schedule just a little bit, and where they may haven't been in the past, they are not now going to be taking online bids for all their sales. And they have a lot of sales at Springfield Livestock Marketing Center. Their Monday weigh-up sale starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, be taking online bids for that. The Tuesday dairy sale starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. The DV auction broadcast console will be open for bids there. Wednesday at their feeder cattle auction, which starts at 8 a.m. Of course, they've always been taking bids there. And at the special cow sales that they have on Saturday evening, they have been at 4 o'clock in the evening, now going to be at 6 o'clock in the evening. So keep that in mind at Springfield Livestock Marketing Center, Springfield, Missouri. Talk about your board on Thursday. It went down a ton. You know, we see that board going up a bunch, and then once in a while it goes down a bunch, and then keeps going back up. But this felt a little different. Your August live cattle futures were down 6 1/4. Ouch. If you hadn't noticed, on Wednesday they did have 20 loads of deliveries tendered. I believe it was in Syracuse, Kansas there, and that's what that delivery threat does, is it keeps that cash and the board together. And man, it backed it up and got it closer to your southern plains, but went down further than that. But not sure anybody wanted to take delivery. Nobody's got balls enough to take delivery anymore. Where's Charlie McVeigh when you need him? He used to take delivery all the time. They haven't really kept the weights up to date on that delivery process, so likely the cattle that are delivered, if you got delivery of them, they would look like feeder cattle now, because they can't bring the extreme heavy weights to delivery yet, because they haven't moved the weights up enough. They've been moving them up over time, but the last year or two our weights have really got extreme, and they haven't met that yet. But that's interesting. Your August live cattle contract again down 6 1/4 at 237. October was down 260, 236.92, and your back months down 135 to down 230. August feeder cattle up 47 cents at 365.92. It has to do that because it has to stay in line with your CME feeder cattle index. So that's the way it stays in line, is through a cash settlement, unlike the live cattle futures. But September feeder cattle down 360 at 361.80. Your back months on feeder cattle down 250 to down 367. Look at your fat cattle trade. Iowa sold 800 head is all they had confirmed, but I believe there was more trade after the board closed and after that report come out on Thursday. Only 1,300 head confirmed for the week. Live sales recorded at 245 and dress sales at 392. Nebraska had 650 head confirmed at 385 dressed. So that was a little bit off the market. Not sure what happened there. Kansas had the most sales, 2,400 head confirmed on Thursday, 4,000 for the week. Live price in Kansas, 240 to the majority of 242, and that's the market in the Southern Plains. And that 242 is $2 higher than last week. Texas, the only thing they've showed this week is a load of mixed steers and heifers at 238. But box beef cutout values were mixed on Thursday. Choice cuts up 257 at 414.41. Selects down 187 at 385.84. Your slaughter has been pretty aggressive, really. as light as slaughter has been here of late. Is an aggressive week this week. Estimated cattle slaughter 462,000 head up through Thursday. That's 12,000 more than last week and just 21,000 less than the same week a year ago. Your actual slaughter information come back for the week ending August the 16th had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 943. That was up 4 pounds from the same report that come out last week. So his cattle are awful big and getting bigger there, guys. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services, that's Dakota Moss. They are your LRP specialist. Does this thing feel like it's slipping a little bit? Maybe if it does, you want to find your protection levels and get a hold of them at Livestock Risk Services. Find out what all it takes to lock the price in on your calves you're going to be selling later in the year or next year. Some cattle that you got turned out or cattle that you've bought that you plan to turn out here on winter forage. You can get a hold of them at livestockriskservices.com. Time for our Punchy Pics and the Kids Corral. Of course, the Kids Corral is sponsored by Great Plains Livestock Consulting. Tell you what, they can help you out. They've got the contacts, they've got the know-how, and it just helps to kind of bounce some things off somebody else that has a lot of experience in the industry, and likely they could save you enough to pay for their services. But Kids Corral, you know how that is. It's a Punchy Pics, but the kids start out with third place. And that's Melissa DeJagger. I'm not sure of the pronunciation on that last name there, but these three kids, Ethan, Royce, and Merrick, got a bottle calf, and if the door happens to be open, front door to the house, that bottle calf thinks it needs to go inside there, and I'm not sure if that's Merrick that is doing maybe a matador thing with that towel, but thought that was cute for a Kids Corral pick. Second place is Ashley Dumont, and that's out of Summit, South Dakota. Her nieces are loading the 4-H calves for the South Dakota State Fair, and they're having to put their back into it. Those heifers aren't used to being loaded there very often, I don't guess. But tell you what, that was a pretty good Kids Corral. But the first place in the Kids Corral goes to Mitchell Marr, up in Riceville, Iowa. This is 13-year-old Conley Reese, and they're up there in northeast Iowa, and he is getting the hang of dehorning. I'm telling you, Conley, don't do it, because it's a never-ending thing. You're going to be expected to do that. They're going to hold those horn cattle for you. If you're not there when they're working them, they're going to hold them and run them through the chute when you're there. It's not a good deal. But pretty good Kids Corral pick there. Now on to the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. We're going to go start out with third place there is Lance Kaufman from Hopper, Arkansas. And I call this one Soak and Shade. On a hot day in southwest Arkansas with a heat index up to 111, his bull found a way to get some relief there, and you look under there, and that's a pretty good Punchy Pick there for that hot bull. Second place is Jared Williams from Auburn, Nebraska. There's a long story here. They were doctoring this cow. The head gate popped open there. This is Dustin Egger's cow. His father-in-law, Daryl Summerholder, He took off after the cow down the driveway in the bell truck, got a rope on this cow, and then held her until they could get over there with the trailer. But she was not happy by the time they got there to load her. But pretty good Punchy Pick there from Jared Williams. But the winner of the Punchy Pick contest goes to Cullen Kovac. Now this is a pretty interesting picture. Now there's a series of them really. Green Horse and Green Cowboy. Rookie rancher Tracy George said that he could ride anything with hair. And he was boasting around there, and they said, well, what do you think about this colt right here? And it was the young horse's first time with a bridle and a saddle. And Tracy actually chugged 2 hot Miller Lights in a summer day there, give him a little extra courage, and he said, let her buck, boys. Lasted 2.2 seconds. That's that. Congratulations to Cullen Kovac, winner of the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. Of course, he's going to get the grand prize. He's going to get all kinds of swag. He'll get a giant box delivered to his house full of swag from NationalBeefWire, Feeder Flash, Beaver County Stockyards got the coolest stuff going out there, and then a whole case of Fairpiece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven. And I've heard it could work on that horse. You might calm that horse down and give Tracy another run at it there. But there's your Punchy Picks for the months. They'll be coming up here again the end of next month, guys. Talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They're working to protect your livelihood, guys. Your real-time index late in the day after your Thursday sales were complete, sitting at 364.78. That's up 12 cents compared to the end of Wednesday's trade there. And your latest CME cash feeder cattle index jumped up there all of a sudden at 365.23. So I'm not sure why that's so yo-yo-y here, but anyway, jumped up there with those Wednesday sales were big. And actually Thursday was not a big sale day, but headed out this Labor Day weekend, I am to take online bids for DVAuction at the All-American Horse Sales in Ruidoso, New Mexico. I've gone there on Labor Day weekend all my adult life, or when I was barely adult till now, but no races out there because the flood took the track out, but they're having the races over in Albuquerque, but we're still having the horse sale there in Ruidoso. And still pretty good time there in Ruidoso, but you can tune in to the All-American Horse Sales there at DVAuction.com. Talk about your big sales on Thursday. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas had 2,900 head. The feeder steers steady to $1 higher. Feeder heifers $2 to $5 higher. They were your Superior Steel sales, home of Superior Standard livestock equipment. Stick out sale of the day. And look at this automated marker report through Cattle Market Central, and you see your best tested weights there. There was 181 head of the 6-weight steers, averaged 643 at $400.14 a hundred on the weighted average. 422 head of the 8-weight steers, averaged 862 at $352.52. 561 head of 9-weight steers, averaged 935 at $346.62. Look at the heifers. There were 200 head of 5-weight heifers, averaged 557 at $407.59. 182 head of 6-weight heifers there in Salina. They averaged 646 at $371.19. 288 head of the 7-weight heifers, averaged 760 at $352.64. And 426 head of 8-weight feeder heifers in Salina, Kansas, averaged 845 at $336.30. The best quote that I saw in Salina, individual quote, was 60 head of steers weighed 914 and bring $355. That's a big quote. Got several other individual quotes from all around I want to give you. How about up at Belle Fourche Livestock Market in Belle Fourche, South Dakota? They sold 68 heifers, weighed 696 at $384. Go down further south to Wheeler Livestock Auction in Osceola, Missouri there. They sold some heifers awfully high. 50 head of 714-pound heifers in Osceola, Missouri bring $394. Big time quote there. Another heifer quote, this time out of Clarinda Livestock Auction in Clarinda, Iowa. They're a DV broadcaster. 62 heifers weighed 881 and bring $345. It wasn't long ago that would have been a top quote for steers, guys. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Paris, Kentucky stockyards there. It was 131 steers, weighed 857 in the ring in Paris, Kentucky. They bring 373 1/4. Wow. That's your feeder flash for Friday.